Hello, all. This is Josh with the Synchronized Universe. I hope you all are doing wonderful today. Today, I wanted to get on really quick and talk about something that has interested me for a long time. It was one of the main reasons I started going to school for psychology, and that's the work of people like Dr. Carl Jung and then Dr. Sigmund Freud. And these are things that have greatly interest me. And I was reading a book recently, or I have been reading a book that everybody should read that's listening to this. It's called Think and Grow Rich by Dr. Napoleon Hill. He's not a doctor. Anyway, my bad. But he's talking about something. This book was, I believe, published in 1929, which is a long time ago. And at the end of the book, he's discussing something about the mind that it kind of messes with me, because I'm like, they seem to have an understanding of psychology in 1929 that we don't have now. It's like, has this information been purposely askew, purposely, hidden from us? And it really got my mind burning. And then I've been following the work of he's a new, person of the mind, Dr. Joe Dispenza. And if you've watched any of his videos and done a lot of, and read a lot of his stuff that he writes, he's done a lot of brain scans. He's done a lot of work with trying to combine the metaphysical and science, so spiritual and science. And the stuff that he's talking about is really stuff that they already seem to know about in like 1929. And it's like, why is it that we're just now getting this information? And to be honest, people look at what Dr. Joe Dispenza is doing as pseudoscience. And why is that? Why is that people look at it like it's pseudoscience? And that's because, again, a lot of people only believe what they hear from like mainstream science sources. But this guy has done, lots and lots and lots of brain scans, literal, and he's done all these different studies and literally has, verifiable scientific data to back this stuff up. And then you look at the work of Dr. Carl Jung and all that with the mind and we're just talking about the deep mind, the subconscious mind. And again, these people back in, 1929 appear to have a knowledge of the brain and how it works that we don't today. For example, what they were talking about in the book I've been reading, Think and Grow Rich, they were saying that it is a well-known established fact that you can be made sick by thoughts alone, by the power of somebody suggesting. Say, if you were to go to somebody and say, "Hey, you look sick today," they actually did, they did study after study where like they had it take you generally like three people. So three different people will tell somebody that they look sick today. So the first person, oh, and then the guy's like, "Oh, I don't feel so bad." The second person tells this same person that he looks sick today, and then he starts to question, "Oh, maybe I do feel sick. Maybe I do look sick." The third person tells him, "Oh, you look sick today." And he's like, "You know what? I've been feeling this and this." And ultimately, that's the idea that you can be made sick simply by the power of autosuggestion, by somebody suggesting to you that you look sick. And again, seems to be like a well-known fact. If you look at the work of Dr. Carl Jung and Sigmund Freud, they did lots and lots of stuff, lots of experiments in this area, and it's been verifiable. They've proven it. And yet today we don't seem to have this knowledge as a regular part of our society. Like, it is, again, it's a well-known fact. This is Dr. Joe Dispenza talking. It is a well-known scientific established fact that you can turn on the stress hormone in your body by thought alone. You can actually, turn on the stress hormone by thinking of something negative that happened to you in your life, and your body will think as though it's there. This is a well-known fact. And yet people they don't bridge the connection that your thoughts can literally make you sick. If your thoughts can make you sick, then this stuff that they were teaching in 1929 is a fact. It is not fiction. It is not something crazy. There's something more going on inside our minds than we have been led to believe. Now, to me, the question seems obvious as to why this would be kept from us. So, again, they do not want a populace that understands these principles, that understands we don't need all these different chemicals to make us feel okay. We can train our brains to overcome anything mental wise, anything. You can literally train your brain. Anytime a negative thought comes up, you can tell your brain something different. It's called autosuggestion. Every time it comes up, you say the opposite. Say, give it a loving thought. This is 100% verifiable, and you have nothing to lose to try it. But again, they want to sell us medications. So the pharmaceutical companies pretty much own what you can say in medicine. This is what I've learned by going to school. 100%. The curriculums that they're teaching in school are approved by these pharmaceutical companies. 100%. Pretty much everything we know about medical science goes through the filter of these pharmaceutical companies. And the pharmaceutical companies don't want us to know that we can heal ourselves. Anybody who's ever looked into the placebo effect, this is another thing that Dr. Joe Dispenza is investigating, because the placebo effect doesn't make any sense, because you can literally take, fake drugs and your body will mimic the effects. This is proven over and over and over again. And people don't grasp what that really means. What does that mean? That means your body can quite literally produce health. It can produce the effects of all these different chemicals on its own. You don't need them. These are the facts. All you have to do is believe in the healing. Believe. That is what they were trying to teach you, like what Jesus was trying to teach you in the Bible, for example, for anybody who believes in that. It is not the thing that is believed in that brings an answer to your prayer, but the belief itself. The subconscious mind is what's connected to the divine mind, or whatever it is that you want to call it. But we are more than just physical chemical vehicles here. We are literally, energy walking around. You can do anything with your mind. You can literally create health. But instead, we're constantly giving ourselves all this negative fear stuff. That's why the news only pumps you full of fear. That's why during the certain thing that we dealt with for a couple years, they only pumped you full of fear. Never once did they tell us how many people have recovered. Never once did they say, we can all, do this together. No, they were damning everybody who didn't get certain things, or only putting fear in our minds. And that isn't the answer. And that brings me back to the Think and Grow Rich book, because they talk about during the certain flu that they had, the Spanish flu, that there was certain people in the government that wrote to the newspapers, or certain doctors or certain people in the government that wrote to the newspapers to stop putting, doom and gloom and fear about that thing, about the flu, into the newspapers every day, because they understood at that point in time that constantly going around being afraid of something and afraid of the symptoms and saying that you're all going to die, etc., is going to make people sick, and they're going to make the problem exacerbated. And so I'm saying, like, when I heard that, I'm like, they again seem to know something back in 1929 that we don't know now. And again, I've said this the entire time during all of that being constantly afraid of something and constantly worrying about something is going to attract that to you. 100%. If you believe you're sick, that's why everybody and their mom was constantly going to the hospital when they weren't actually sick, is because that's all we heard about all the time. We literally can create hypochondriac symptoms in our body of stuff. And that's why they started like adding millions of symptoms. Like everything became a symptom of that certain thing that I'm not going to mention. But I'm just saying, man, it's wild to me. But I'm going to be doing probably a couple episodes on this because I'm about out of time. Um, but this is just the beginning. I'm also recording a YouTube video of it. Reflections on YouTube. If you like what you're hearing, please like and subscribe. I hope you all have a blessed day and continue. I'm going to be continuing for part 2 of this next, probably tomorrow or the next day. And then again, I'll be doing a video of it. I might do part 2 as a video this is like a little teaser here. I might, yeah, it's probably what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do part two as a video. But I hope you all have a blessed day. This is Josh with the Synchronized Universe and Reflections on YouTube with threes instead of e's. I hope you all have a blessed day.